the very final tour I was on took us from Noblesville, where the riot show took place, to St. Louis, to Chicago. And it just didn't have the same sort of happy feel. It just didn't. I think it's really important that I talk a little bit about the riot show. The parking scene at Noblesville was out of control. We turned onto the main roadway to get into the main parking lot, seemingly only about 2 more miles to go on the track, and came to a dead standstill and sat there for easily an hour. And we're getting panicked now because showtime's coming and we're out on the lawn. And fortunately, my wife and several other people in cars persuaded a farmer to open up their house area and let us park on their lawn. So we parked a good 1.5 miles away from the venue and walked through a farmer's field, a rocky farmer's field, to get to the show. There were a lot of people outside that show. Now, we didn't stand and mingle around. We were going straight to the lawn and getting whatever spot we could get at that point. Unfortunately, my buddy Rob Wakefiler from Chicago actually had us squared up, and we found him, and we were in great shape, and it was no harm, no foul. But there were a lot of people outside, a lot. People everywhere. And it makes sense now because the previous show was at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. It's 4th of July weekend. And how many of those people say to themselves, we're off to Noblesville. We're going to go see the Grateful Dead again, and without a ticket. So the thing that happened about midway through the first set was, I think the band may have noticed it before anybody else, but one of the planks on the back of the lawn, which was a wooden wall, came down. There were people scaling the wall back there. They had scaled up the back of the hill and had scaled up the fence and were coming in over the fence. And eventually the fence came down. Several planks of wood had come down. So there was certainly a hint of rowdiness going on. And when I noticed the long stream of flashing red lights coming towards the venue on the main road, we could see it from the hillside. And it was a long stream of flashing red lights. I unfortunately didn't put 2 and 2 together, that the scene outside had become a melee, and that the scaling and breaking into the show, gate crashing, was only a symptom of what the heck was going on out there. So the show is over. It is a strange show because there was a death threat on Jerry's life. So the lights in the pavilion stayed on all night, so that the scene could be constantly surveilled. And so it was really weird. And when we left after the show, and it was a good show. It wasn't a great show, but it was a good show. There was no question. There was broken glass everywhere in the parking lot. Absolutely everywhere. It looked like something had just blown up a glass bomb right there, and there was glass everywhere. And I still hadn't put 2 and 2 together, that there had been a melee out there. And this is where the story gets very sad. And we get back to the Red Roof, and we're a little buzzed out, so we're watching some headline news, or CNN. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, in comes the news report about the riot at the Grateful Dead show in Noblesville. And that they were going to cancel the next show because there was going to be a show the next day, and the Grateful Dead was going to cancel it. My wife burst into tears. What had become of us? Who knows? Really sad, really ugly, really unfortunate. And if there's anything that can describe how the scene changed into a rowdy riot, and that's not what Deadheads are. We're good, kind people.